Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead. Guys, today it's cold, drizzly rain, but we got some quails that need to be processed. I think about 15 if I ain't mistaken. But first off, I'm getting my little outside heater slash cooker here, getting me a good fire started. So when I get up here when my hands is wet and damp, I can step right over here and warm my hands up. I got some good 2x4 chunks here. A fella down the road's building a house, and I asked him to keep a lot of his scraps that he was going to throw away and burn, because they make perfect wood for this little heater. So I'm going to just chug her full. And I got my torch sitting there getting my fire going, and we're going to go out to the quail pen and get these quails in this little cage, and we'll come back up here and go to work. All right, guys, you can see here I got, well, I said 15, I think it's 14 in this pack batch. 14 quails here, 8 weeks old. We're finna process them today. And this pen right over here next to us, these are 3 weeks behind this, and I think it's 15 in that batch. Guys, what I do, I hatch 25 eggs at a time out in my little mini incubator. I put 25 eggs in there, and I always end up from 14 to 18 quails hatch out, and then sometimes you'll lose 1 or 2 of them. So this is how I'm set up, but usually I don't keep them in that cage. This time I had them 3 weeks apart. Usually I got them spaced further than that, so I can have them in that cage only for about 2 to 3 weeks, because that little cage there got little bitty wire. So when they chicks, you can put them in there and it's got a light in it. When they come out of the brooder, they go in that cage. But anyway, for this time, them there's 3 weeks behind these. So I keep a little carrying cage, I call them. This is the last cage they ever see. Whenever they get put in this cage, that's the last cage these fellas see. Next thing they see is the deep freeze or the grease. And the last 2 or 3 batches I done, I let them go to 9 weeks old. But here it is, November, and it's time to do a little deer hunting. And between working and wanting to do a little deer hunting, today's a day that I ain't doing nothing. I said, well, these are finna go and get processed today. Now guys, after I process that other little batch over, I don't plan on raising no more quail for meat. I try to have me a batch hatched out about the end of January, 1st of February, and start doing that again. Like I said, for the winter months, I don't want to have to fool with them when it's so cold and stuff, but right now it's time to fool with rabbits. But guys, for any of you who's been following along my videos, you know I got American blue rabbits. I only got 2 does and 1 buck, and they named after the voice. This is Kelly Clarkston, next is Down Gwen, and the buck's Blake. Well, back in the summer, these rabbits was real young. When they got 6 months old, I went to trying to breed them, and between the does and Blake not knowing what he was doing, I like to never got them to breed, but I finally got Gwen over here bred. And she had a little Blake. And here's little Blake right here. That was Gwen's first baby from Blake. Well, I'm gonna keep him and see if he ends up being a bigger rabbit than his daddy is. I might keep him for an extra male. But old Gwen's pregnant again here in about 2 weeks. She ought to have a litter, and I'm hoping she has a bigger litter her second go around. But Kelly here, she had her babies about 3 or 4 days ago. Now she had a litter. She had 7 on her first litter. Now one of them died the second day. But she's got 7 of these little fellas right here. So she had a good litter. It took me forever to get her pregnated, but once she got pregnated, she had a good litter for the first time litter. 'Cause a lot of times rabbits, the first time they breed, they don't have a good litter like that. They do like Gwen, just have 1 or maybe 2. So this winter, while it's cold, soon as Kelly's baby's wings in about 3 weeks, I'm gonna wait till 4 weeks before I rebreed her. And then when Gwen has hers, I'm gonna wait till 4 weeks later, and then I'm gonna rebreed her. So I'm gonna do rabbits through the cold part of the year when it's good and cold outside. 'Cause when it gets up here to 100 and over 100-degree index in July and August, I just didn't want to breed the rabbits, and I'd rather do the quail and stuff throughout the year when it's warm and hot, and do my rabbits when it's cold. So let's get up here and start working on these quail and show y'all how I process my quail. Now guys, is that not a good looking fire right there? Whew, feels good on them hands, 'cause they done got cool out there fooling around in them quail cages and rabbit cages, 'cause I went on and fed while I was out there. I wished before I started this, I'd have went on and got me something ready, so went on put on here and cook. Who knows, we might cook one of these quails here when we get through with it. Hate to run a quail though, experimenting on this little heater, 'cause I ain't got it down the path yet. I ain't cooked but about 3 times on it so far. But it's just now getting the weather to use it. Sit out here like it is right now. Build you a fire, have you something to come warm your hands with. Maybe something cooking on here. I don't know if y'all seen a video on this, but I'll attach it above. I got a couple videos, one I think where I built it, and a couple where I cooked on it. I know the first time I messed up. It cooks faster and hotter than I thought, and I overcooked my squirrel the first time, so I made the second video. But I do think if I come across me another tank now after I've had it a while, I'm gonna get me another old tank and cut me a door out, and I'm gonna put me a door down here. That way when I'm sitting out here like this, I can have the door open, but then when you want to cook on it, you ain't got to put as much wood in there, and you can shut the door and adjust your air vents. And I think it'll be a lot better cooker than it is the way it is right there. Another thing I wished I'd have done, I wished I'd have made the exhaust stack about 2 foot taller, so it'd be taller than my little top here on my shed. That way the smoke would go on when it is starting up a fire, it'd go on over it. So I may have to do some more work on it one day and make my exhaust there a little bit taller. I wasn't thinking about using it right here at the time I built it. But we're gonna get all the kinks ironed out of it one day and get it set up just the way we like it. It's actually fine the way it is for what I started out building it for, was just a heater, and then I decided to make a cooker out of it too. But anyway, let's get over here and process these quail. Alright guys, I went on and dispatched / killed 5 of these birds, and all I do is pull their heads off and hold them over a bucket and let them bleed out, and then I toss them in water, 'cause I like doing mine with wet feathers. Now I skin these. And I got a pair of these little poultry shears here. I'll put the Amazon in the description below. The Amazon affiliated link in the description below this video, but I go on and clip the wings off. And for right now, I clip them off right there at that first joint down there. I go on and clip the legs off right where the legs meet the feathers. And I'm going to go on and do all 5 of these just like that before I ever even start skinning them. Hope y'all can see that good enough. Now a quail wing ain't like no chicken wing. It ain't got no meat on it. So you ain't worried about keeping the whole wing way out there. And you can cut them on off closer while you're doing it at this step, but I just do it like that. That way I won't mess up and cut into my breast or anything. I'm not the best at this. Don't claim to be the best. I'm sure there's people out there got some better techniques, and this is just how I do it. Seems to work out good. The people around seems to like it. They don't mind eating the quails, I know that. All right, I think I got them 5 done. So guys, all I do is I'll start right there in the back of that breast, and I just tear it and pull right over the end. Work myself right around. I'm wearing a glove on my left hand because I got a cut on my hand. I didn't want to get it infected or nothing there. And the tail feathers right back here on the back, you can grab them and pinch them and just kind of give them a twist. And they'll come right off. Then I'll take my shears and I clip right across the vent. Give him a little wash, make sure I got all the feathers off. Clip that neck off right there close to the body. And you can clip that wing right there close to the body if you like. But I just leave them on there little nubs like that. Don't never know. That's just the way I do it. Then I take my shears and I go in right where his neck was, and I get right down beside that backbone. Grab all of his entrails, however you pronounce that. I need to just say I grab all of his guts and pull them out. And guys, you want to make sure you get your fingernail right inside that rib cage there and get them little lungs out. Just like on a chicken. Then I come back and I get that backbone. I run right down the other side of it and take that backbone out of it. That way you just got you a good breasted bird with his legs there. Now I don't do no further cleaning up on it. I just douse him here in the dirty water they in, then I throw him over here in the clean water. And then when I get totally done doing that, then I come back and clean some of the little fat off of them and dress them up a little prettier. But that's how I do that, guys. Nothing to it. If you do get one that's older, that's kind of tough, you can take your knife and just cut you a little hole there in the skin to get it started on a tougher, older bird. But most quails ain't tough enough. You can't just pinch the hide and start with it. And the thing about me, I don't never do it the same way. I may start and go around his back toward his front one time, and I might start the next time and come around his front going toward his back. I just go with the flow. Whichever way it starts off, that's the way I go with it. Y'all watch me long enough, y'all know I'm a fella that don't think there's one way to do everything. And when somebody thinks their way is the best way, well, bless their little hearts, I guess. The old saying goes, it's more than one way to skin a cat. That goes to doing anything you do. Not just skinning animals. That means anything in life. It's more than one way to do it. But I will tell you, I ain't claiming mine's the best way by no reasons here. So don't go getting me wrong there now. I'm gonna shut up and clean birds now. Now after I do these 5, I'll let this dirty water out right here and put some clean water in. Just to keep things a little cleaner. Now guys, with all this talk about food shortages and price of meat going up and all that, quail is one of the easiest things to grow, to raise. These are Taters quails. From the time they're born, 8 weeks later, they're starting to lay eggs. Now these hadn't started laying eggs because of the time of the year it is. Even my breeders is done about stopped laying eggs right now. But in 8 weeks they laying eggs, and you can process them. And that's fast return for you some good eating meat. Taters quails, you seen the little pen? You ain't gotta have no big flyer pen for Taters quails. You can keep them in little cages like rabbit cage size. Now if you wait too long before you start processing them, your males will start fighting each other and they will kill each other. Some of my other batches I waited 9 and 10 weeks on, like I was saying. Some of the males I had to process a few days before because I'd go out there and they'd be done fighting each other and doing damage to each other, and I'd go on and process them, 4 or 5 of them. But the 3 things that I would be raising right now in this time, which is the 3 things I'm raising, and that's why I'm raising them. When I started this, I chose quails and rabbits and chickens for that reason. Now I got 4 ducks out there, but that ain't nothing. Only reason I ain't got ducks to begin with is just for my grandson to have a duck around. But they ain't gonna be around too long probably. I don't like fooling with them. But quail and rabbit and chickens. Chickens, you get your eggs. You can have your chicken meat. And I don't know anybody that eats meat that don't eat chicken. Rabbits, from the time they born in 11 weeks, which I'm gonna wait about 13 weeks. But in 11 weeks, you can process your rabbits. And your rabbits, if you got a cage where you, like I'm gonna have them ones that's gonna be my meat rabbits, they gonna be out there on the grass. Matter of fact, them I just showed y'all, they gonna be out there in that turnip green and mustard green patch. That's another reason I planted them turnip greens and mustard greens. So I knew I was gonna put them rabbits in that rabbit tractor, and that's where they gonna be. Right in the middle of it. I move it around, move it a spot each day. Or not each day, they ain't gonna eat that much each day. When they eat down the size of that little rabbit tractor, I'm gonna move it up another little bit. Guys, I'm sitting over by the fire. I didn't want to get back up and get started. Just heard a gunshot go off back there. Somebody may be shooting a deer. I don't even know if deer season's open here yet or not, other than bow season. That don't really matter to some folks around my part, so. And guys, it don't matter if you live inside some city limits. I know a lot of places has their rules and regulations. But you can raise a few of these quails, like I said, in a little bitty cage. And you can process them in your house at the kitchen sink. Now, yeah, you could not be as messy as I am right here, but that's what this sink out here was originally put here for. Skin squirrels and skin deer. And now rabbits and quails and chickens. Well, actually this sink skinned a lot of stuff, because I used to do taxidermy on the side several years ago, so it's been bobcats, antelope, sheep, deer. It's been a lot of stuff since skin on this old sink. And this old sink come out of a camp that I know was back there when I was a kid. So there's no telling how old this old sink is. Alright guys, now you see I done washed them again. Put me some clean water in my pan over here. This is when I trim up a little bit of that fat off of them, make sure I didn't leave nothing on the inside. I throw them in that pan of water, and I put them in the refrigerator. And I like leaving mine in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow I bag them up. And sometimes I vacuum seal them, and sometimes I freeze them in quart Ziploc bags. But when I do in quart Ziploc bags, I freeze mine in water. All of my life I've froze fish, deer meat, and squirrel in water. And when you do that, I have eaten deer meat 5 years old. Now, when you thaw it out, the piece that was touching that bag, you may need to throw away. But what's inside that ice that was froze, you don't know that it ain't 1 year old. And that's what I like about freezing in water. Now, yeah, it takes up more room in your freezer. And sometimes you have a mishap where a bone will poke a hole and let the water out. But I got an old freezer that I try to freeze my stuff in, and then once it froze, I'll take it and put it in the other freezer. That way I won't get no mishap like that and get nothing froze in the water down in the bottom of the freezer that all the good food's in. But these shears right here, a good pair of shears is the handiest thing you can have. Now these ain't the best shears, but they've been good so far. But a sure enough pair of good shears cost too much. As with everything nowadays, the more you pay something, the better quality you're gonna get. But I'll leave a link in the description below on these shears, and if I ain't mistaken, I can't rightly remember, but I think these are under $20. And they take apart where you can clean them. See, like that right there, guys, I missed the lung on there. That's why you want to wash them 2 or 3 times. Check them. You don't want to leave nothing in the inside. That's where you end up with your good, pretty quail breast and his legs. And a lot of people don't even keep legs, they just keep the breast out of them. But there's a little meat on them legs right there. So guys, that's how you skin your quail. Like I said, I'm gonna put mine in this outside ice box and let them sit in this cold water overnight, and then I'll bag them up tomorrow. Alright guys, I got my mess cleaned up, desanitized my area over where I processed the quails. Chugged my heater back here full of wood. After it burns down a little bit, I got me some good sweet potatoes wrapped up here. We're gonna stick them right up in here, and then we're gonna bake us a sweet potato in this heater. Right now I'm finna drink this coffee and warm my hands, because my hands done got cold cleaning up everything. But guys, what I want to talk to y'all about is everything's on the news, and everybody ought to know about the shortages and everything. A lot of people don't understand. They say, well, everybody's back to work. Pretty much, we shouldn't be using shortages. Well, guys, this is a chain reaction of what happened last year, and it's a long time from being over. Not just the United States, our whole world was shut down. All of your factories were shut down. It makes everything. So if you just take chicken, for example. Well, if all your chicken plants were shut down, your ships will shut down, ships from overseas, because we all know the biggest part of our stuff is shipped over and shipped back, even most of your food. That's what's sad about the United States, but that's true. Well, not just was the factory shut down, the chicken farmers that was raising the chickens, they had chickens that they couldn't do nothing with because they didn't have nowhere to take them. Well, they couldn't keep just feeding them chickens because they couldn't afford to feed just to feed the chickens. So if they got rid of the chickens, killed them, whatever they done with them, well then when things started trying to get started again, well all your chicken farmers had to basically start over, so they didn't have no houses full of chickens to immediately send back to the plants. Plus all your plants still ain't up 100% operating and ain't going to be for a long time. I was reading the other day that our ships, the ships from overseas, on average there's normally like 80 ships at the loading docks at all times. Now it's over 300 there all the time. Because they can't get caught up, and the factories can't get caught up, and it's a chain reaction. And even in all your food supplies, it's a shortage in aluminum to make aluminum cans. Well, even your factories here in the United States that makes canned foods, if they ain't got no, they may have the foods to do it, but if they ain't got the aluminum to make the cans, they can't do it. Where does your aluminum come from? Well, we all know most of our scrap iron is sent overseas. Never made sense to me how you can ship something all the way across the seas. They can make something out of it and ship it back cheaper than we could have a factory here in the United States. But guys, we the people has done this to ourselves over the years. And when I say we, everybody, because everybody wants stuff cheaper. You want stuff cheaper. Well, to get stuff cheaper, that's why it's all overseas and in other countries. Then when times like this happens, yeah, you wished everything was over here. Yeah, it may cost more in labor, it may cost more for it. But if everything was over here like it should be, it would cost more. But in reality, it would be more jobs, so it would be more money circulating at all times, and the jobs would probably pay more. But that's hindsight 2020. We got to deal with what situations we in right now. So right now, like I was saying a while ago when I was skinning them birds, guys, you need to be thinking. I mean, when COVID come out, and I got laid off and I come home, I immediately fixed my garden area up. And I ain't doing nothing on no big scale. I got me, I think, 6 female quails, and I think maybe I got 7 female quails and 3 males. Well, during the summer, they lay an egg a day. Well, I just got a little incubator, and an egg a day. Well, at an egg a day, in 5 days to 6 days, I got my 25 eggs to put in my incubator. Put them in the incubator. 16 to 18 days later, they hatch, and out of them 25, I get 14 to 18 birds. Put them in the little brooder box for the first couple of days, and then I put them in that other little pen. And I normally have it where they only have to stay in there 2 weeks. And then I put them in the third pen. And in 8 weeks, I got birds big enough to process. Now, if you didn't want to spend the money on the feed, now I can do the 15 birds and I free feed them. And I think if I kept up with that right, a 50-pound bag of feed, I free feed them, and so I go through about 1.5 bags in them 8 weeks for them 14 to 18 birds. And that's free feeding them. You ain't really got to feed them that much if you want to feed them every day. or if you got a pen where you can set them around on your grass. But I don't want to go through that. I like how I'm set up. The rabbits only got 2 does and 1 buck. Well, once they get to breeding, just like Kelly right there just had 7 rabbits, with 1 passed away, so that's 6 rabbits. 11 weeks you can process them. But in 3 weeks after she had them, you can rebreed her. 2 doe rabbits, you keep your cycle going, I produce more rabbits than you gonna want to eat in a year. But if that's all the meat I got to eat, rabbits is good. Matter of fact, I done got where nowadays used to, I thought I'd never say this, but I thought deer meat was the best thing in the world. But now I like the squirrels and the chickens and the rabbits and these quails. Chickens, I think now I got 20 chickens because I got 4 little roosters, which I'm gonna get rid of one of them roosters. Which I just got bantam roosters just because I want to have a rooster around. And then I got 6 big laying hens, full-size Rhode Island Reds, and I got 2 Blue Rocks, which just now, that's a full-size chicken, but it's just now getting to age to lay. And then them little bantam hens, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of them bantam hens, and they lay a smaller egg, but hey, that's eggs. Now the bantams, if you want to do it just for food, you wouldn't want to fool with the bantam hens, but I got the bantam chickens because me and my grandson wanted to have some different chickens, and I just like the little chickens. Like I said, the eggs are still good. You just need, instead of 1 egg, you need 2 eggs to make 1 regular sized chicken egg. But them little bantam chickens is some good eating. They kind of dress them whole, and they kind of like them little Cornish hens. But guys, that's 3 things right there. Now yes, you can do pigs and you can do beef, but that's getting to where you can't do that in a small spot on a small scale for a reasonable amount of money. As far as me and the beef, if things got that bad, there's plenty of cows around here. I could easily buy a cow and process it. Because if things get that bad, these cow farmers ain't gonna have nowhere to send their cows, which is another problem right now with the beef industry. They ain't got no place to send them to get them processed and shipped and trucked and all that back to the stores. So there's plenty of cows around in the country like this. Times get that hard, you'll be able to get you a cow without having to worry about raising a cow. Now pork, I ain't worried about no pork because where I live there's plenty of wild hogs. We can get pork by just going hunting. But anyway guys, things ain't gonna get better for a while. Things ain't gonna get cheaper. Everything's gonna keep going up in price, except your wages. If anything about your wages, they gonna go down. In 2013, when I started working in the oil industry, since 2013, our wages steady decreased. So that's why, another reason now I'm just trying to stay at home, because they just, I don't know, I don't even want to get in on that, but the wages is decreased and they want you to do more. But that, I guess that's in everything nowadays. But guys, like I said, the shortages is a combination of everything. It's a chain reaction. It ain't one thing. Yeah, it pretty much all stems back from the COVID and what happened with everything being shut down. I ain't trying to get into no politics. Don't want to get into politics. Don't like politics. But if this here don't open some folks' eyes, I guess the only thing that's going to open anybody's eyes if they just starve to death, and then they're going to be dead and they ain't going to be able to open their eyes, are they? But anyway, that's enough about that in my opinion. We finna put these sweet potatoes on this fire right here. My latch there is a little hard. You gotta stand up to get my latch there open. I got it good and tight. I'll set them sweet potatoes right back in there. And I'm probably just gonna leave that door open because that's a good hot flame. They gonna cook too fast. Probably need to wait till my fire burns down some more. But we're gonna keep the door open, roll them around in there, and we're gonna cook them. And after this video at the very end, y'all have a little clip on here where I open up my sweet potatoes and show you what they look like. But guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and please don't y'all take this stuff serious and start preparing. If you ain't already preparing, you need to be preparing, because this ain't near about over. But thanks for watching again. God bless. Hope y'all have a great day. See y'all next time. All right, guys. Here's this sweet potato done over that fire. Oh yeah. That's good.